Okay, so this video is the best possible Blackwing combo, ignoring cards like Soul Charge and One for One, and essentially just, I mean, including some one-ups like Glow Bulb and stuff, but essentially just showing like basically as efficient as it gets without including like a bunch of nonsense. A lot of the cards in this are at 1, but well, it's essentially just the best I could figure out without just. I mean, Soul Charge is a lot, and it kind of just defeats the purpose. I mean, any hand will be perfect with Soul Charge. So, yeah, this is just kind of pushing the cards that aren't standard as far as they'll go. So, the best opening is Gofu, Level Leader, Gale, any 2 cards, um, and yeah, the traps represent blank cards essentially. You want Jet Synchron in your deck at the beginning. So I guess okay. So the one thing right now is that you can right here make Librarian and then level lead the Librarian and start doing the Sohaya stuff and do the main combo that way. But there's a chance that in the 3 extra cards that you get, you'll draw Excel Synchron. You'll draw the Jet Synchron, I mean. And it's just not worth the unnecessary risk. So you jump through some hoops to dump it early, just to always make sure that you make this before you make Librarian. Because you're not trying to, screw yourself. You're not trying to screw yourself out of a hand that's already like super, super extremely ideal. So you still get a ton of benefit out of doing it this way. And so those 3 cards are just not worth the risk that you take otherwise. Then you level eat this down again, and you make Librarian here. And from here, you essentially just give up 2 of your. It's only 2 extra draws. So you give up the 2 draws that you would have gotten otherwise by making Librarian early. And from here, it's still actually after this, you still don't have to do it in a standard way. So since you don't make Excel Synchron here, Excel Synchron and Librarian are usually made out of this level 5 by leveling it over and over. Since you already made those, you get to do some extra stuff. It's really nice. So I'll level eat this Sohaya and make Coral Dragon. And the reasons, and I know sometimes I say you save this Coral Dragon for later, but in this particular situation, I'm pretty sure this combo extends itself out no matter what. So you're usually just doing it this way, because the Jet Synchron is saved and you don't have to worry about whether or not you'll need it, I guess, later. I guess in tournament play you would always just keep it anyways, but whatever. And then level eat Librarian. Activate Jet Synchron, discarding the bulb that you have in your first 8 cards. And make Formula. And so the bulb and that Gale are essentially the 2, like, whoa, you sacked cards. So yeah, I guess this video just shows what sacking looks like in this deck. If you watch the minimum combo video, you'll have noticed that there's that hand where I had at the end of the combo I had 5 cards left in my hand. That's like the average. You can kind of gauge how much this deck how much like I sack while I play out this deck, or like how much you sack while you play out this deck, based on how many cards you have left after you've hand looped them and made a Quasar. And like, if you drew really bad, you'll end up with 1, but you'll still do it. Like you'll just have 1 card left at the end. So I'll make Quasar here, and you'll notice that I'm making the Quasar before I use Sohaya's Graveyard Effect, so that gets saved, which is crazy. And I still have an extra formula too, so there's a lot of stuff about this doing it this way that's just kind of insane. So I'm going to go ahead and use Bulb. Summon Level Leader. And make the 2nd Omega. I could have made Formula there, but I'm not certain that I'll have a 2nd Level Leader to use this Orochi, so that's why I didn't do that. It has to do with making this combo super gay. So banish and special Orochi, activate Level Leader, and I'll target this. Make Formula. Activate Level Leader again. Make Tatsunoko. And then here, is the final part. Activate level leader again. Make Omega. You do not use a card in your hand. And then activate the Omega. And then from here on out, you're just doing the standard DDR Zephyros for Omega. Zephyros bounce the DDR. This saves it. Activate Omega. Special summon Drizzle. Level Eat the Drizzle, and you don't even need to use its effect. That's fun, right? Special summon Drizzle, make Trish. Activate the Trish. And DDR the last Omega. So, yeah, I sacked. You can tell that I sacked because there's 8 cards left in my hand. And that's just how this deck kind of works. You kind of have to gauge how much you got sacked when your opponent loops you this way by how many cards are left over, not even by how far they got into the combo, because, you know, this part of the combo is so standard. And you'll see that I didn't use the Nathong in my graveyard in the extra deck. The Nathong and the Quandax most of the time or the Quandam? No, it's Quandax in the TCG. Are in the extra deck for consistency, and if you're doing like super ideal paths through the combo, you don't use them, but in an average hand you'll use them. So yeah, this is the best case scenario. I guess if I have Soul Charge, I could have even more cards in my hand, but you know, it really, in reality, these cards they don't affect the game anymore. Like they're no longer considered. They're no longer like an effective. They're not relevant to the match anymore. Once you've already taken their hand and made the Quasar, they no longer have any cards in play, and these Omegas are coming back, so you already have game on board. And that's that. That's the end of it. You can do whatever you like with these 8 cards. If you haven't played Into the Void, just, you know, set 2 pass. Sometimes I'll just set a bunch of DDRs and stuff. I mean, usually you just kind of try to make it so you don't deck out and your opponent can't like battle fader you or something. But I mean, that's already really impossible anyways because of him. So yeah, that's it.